In my last tutorial, I have shown you how we can customize the PDO instance so that we can use the Laravel's auth library to authenticate the user and generate access tokens. Now, as we are generating access tokens, let's try and create a URL, and that URL should only be accessible to a user when he has a valid access token. We will be using the Laravel's middleware to authenticate the access token before even the controller is called. And if the access token is a valid one, then we proceed to the controller's logic, and if not, then we throw an exception. Alright, so let's use the post controller to give us some data. I have already written some code in my post controller which I no longer require, so I will just clean it up. And let's return a simple data array. Alright, so we will be returning a simple data array with status code 201. Let's fix our route. So we will be sending a simple data array with 1, 2, 3 and 4 with a status code of 201. We need to fix up the route. I don't need a resource controller anymore, and it will be a get URL controller @get_posts. And if I then use this URL in my browser, I'll be able to see the data coming in, which means currently there is no authentication on this resource URL. But what if I want the users with access tokens can only have access to this URL? That means I need to bring in a middleware which does it before the controller is even called. So let me first create a middleware. I will call it OAuth middleware. Now I have already written the code, so I will just copy paste it and explain you what is happening. Alright, so this is the code which I have pasted in. In any middleware, the only function which is fired is the handle method. So in this, first we are doing a check to see if the access token is present or not. If it is not, then we return a 422 error with token not found message. Then we are using the request object from the Symfony component HTTP foundations request, and we are creating a bridge request and a bridge response. And in the end, when we send these two objects to the OAuth's get access token method, we will either get a token which is this part, or we get a response with the error messages. So if you see, I have first checked. If it's not a token, then I get the response, and in that, if the parameters give me an error with expired token, then this is the error message which I will be sending. The access token provided has expired, or if it is an invalid token, then the message will be accordingly. In the end, if everything works well, then I do return next with $request. And in between that, what I have done is added the user ID in the request object so that inside my controller, I can get the user ID. This way, the user will have to pass only the access token and not the user ID and in my subsequent requests, I can use the user ID easily and get the user context. Alright, so now that we have created our middleware, we need to register this. That we have to do inside HTTP kernel. I'll just copy this and name it OAuth, and my class name is OAuth middleware. Alright, now in my controller I'll create the constructor method and in this I'll do this middleware. This will guarantee that before running any of these methods inside this controller, the middleware OAuth will be called. Now if I do a refresh of this URL, I see an error, token not found, which means it has gone into the handle method and then it has returned 422 token not found. Alright, now most of my error messages will be sent as JSON response. So what I will do is change the abort and have a better message. Alright, so basically it's a better response to the devices which are consuming the JSON data, and for them it's a JSON data with status code 422. If I get into the console, go to the network, let me refresh it, you will see it's a 422 status code and the error is token not found. Alright, so now that the URL is authentication based, then how do I set the access token? Let's first change our route to a post and then we will send the required information through Postman to validate that the authentication works and we should get the data. Now this is changed. I have added this URL. This is my access token which I am sending through XWW form URL encoded data. So we need an access token. So as shown in my previous tutorial, I can use this method to get my access token. So this is my access token, and if I paste it here and do send, as you can see I'm getting the data. If I change this access token at any point of time, you will see an invalid token error, which means our code is working. So let's get back the access token. And also I want to show you that I have added a request user ID in the request object and that I can get it inside my controller. So I do request and index request input. Here it is. This is the access token and this is the user ID. So with this, I can load up the user object querying the database. So that's about it. So that's how we can use the Laravel's middleware to write the authentication logic and just add it in the constructor of the controller, which will ensure that all the requests coming to this controller will first get validated through this middleware code, and then only we will be sending any response. If you like this video, click on the thumbs up icon and subscribe to my video channel. I also post a lot of articles on my website, which is amitavroy.com. Do check that out. And if you like these articles, you can subscribe to my updates through the subscribe button, and you will be always updated about any new article which is posted on my website. Thanks.